What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the ever-charming Dr. Disaster, and Capcom recently revealed the results of their first 9 months of the fiscal year 2024, which are down quite a bit from the previous year, which might have had certain investors and potential investors shouting, but not so fast, doomsayers, because Capcom is still in a really good spot, since they have a title coming out at the end of this month, which is damn near guaranteed to turn their fiscal year upside down and put them back on track. Monster Hunter Wilds is about to drop on the gaming community like an atom bomb, blowing away its competition and selling many millions of copies. It is already considered one of the top contenders for best-selling game of this very young year. It has been the top wish-listed game on Steam pretty much non-stop ever since its first open beta came out on Halloween. It has been on or near the top 10 bestsellers list for over 2 months now on Steam, and they have over 300,000 Steam followers.
Holy shit!
And the best part is that the game seems to be relatively woke-free. Obviously, things can change, and if we find out more, I reserve the right to change my opinion. But it looks like it's just a game where you go around hunting monsters, and to top it off, gamers are enamored with this character here, Gemma, whose existence showcases the fact that this is a studio which actually knows what a female is supposed to look like.
Hello, what have we here?
I like that.
This is a game that is expected to sell so well that it is essentially going to single-handedly sustain a company the size of Capcom for an entire year, as we're going to read about in a minute here. This article tells us what Capcom is projecting their bottom line to look like by the end of the fiscal year in March, and with these numbers, we can see what the company is projecting the sales of Monster Hunter Wilds will be in its first month, and the number is staggering. Basically, Wilds is about to set a pretty high benchmark, a tough act for the rest of the games in 2025 to follow, and it's extraordinarily telling that this is coming from a franchise that hasn't done anything, as of yet, to push gamers away by embracing progressive political nonsense. If anything, Capcom seems hell-bent on just being viewed as pure escapism with this game, releasing images and clips of fan-favorite Gemma in order to set themselves apart from the other doofuses in the industry.
I never even saw these assholes before!
Good.
Alright, me hearties, make sure you hit the like button on this video in order to fend off the algorithm monster, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet, and also, don't forget to follow me on X, where my handle is Dr. Disaster 1. But anyways, we just entered into a new month where a lot of very big named games are going to be released, even with Assassin's Creed Shadows having retreated like little chicken shits. This is still a massive month with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, Civilization 7, Like a Dragon, Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii, and of course, Monster Hunter Wilds, coming at the tail end of the month. Despite not releasing until the 28th, Wilds is absolutely going to dominate February. The second open beta is going to start in a few days, which I'm very excited to see the player count for. Last time, they held their open beta on Halloween about 3 months ago, and they hit damn near 500,000 players concurrently on Steam at its max. That is freaking massive, and the hype for the game will absolutely only have grown since then. So, we will see. I've been predicting somewhere around 600,000 max concurrent players when the game actually launches, but I could absolutely see it getting bigger than that, and the numbers for this beta will be very illuminating as to what we can expect. But anyhow, this article that I showed you a minute ago is from the site Simulation Daily, link in the description, and it talks about how important this game is to Capcom's bottom line for the entirety of this fiscal year. It's basically the difference maker between a disappointing drop-off in sales and what will likely amount to a banner year for them. And good on Capcom for realizing what a monumentally important title this is for them, as they avoid embracing the same sort of controversial shit that is likely going to sink Ubisoft with Assassin's Creed Shadows. Anyhow, this article reads, "Today, Capcom announced its financial results for the first 9 months of the fiscal year 2024, related to the period between April and December of 2024. According to the press release, net sales for the whole company were about 89 billion yen. Down 16.3% year over year, while operating income was about 31 billion yen. Down 35% year over year. This is mostly due to the fact that we're comparing against the year in which Capcom released Street Fighter VI. That being said, unit sales of catalog games released before the current fiscal year increased from 26.7 million units to 28.61 million units. Customers are excited about the release of Monster Hunter Wilds, which propelled sales of Monster Hunter World, Iceborne, and Monster Hunter Rise, pushing cumulative unit sales for the franchise beyond 100 million. In other words, the excitement for Wilds has gotten people to buy older iterations of the franchise as they wait for its release, which accounts for the total number of video game units that were previously released being sold higher year over year, but still their total net sales numbers being lower than the previous year. The older games that people are buying will, of course, be on sale for much cheaper prices than a brand new game. But, in any event, pre-orders for Monster Hunter Wilds will, of course, be counted among the net sales from this past year, which is driving up the company's revenue, and you've got to think, the article told us that they are only down about 16% year over year, despite the fact that the previous fiscal year, which ends with March, that year included Street Fighter VI and Dragon's Dogma 2. Dragon's Dogma was released in March of last year, so the bulk of its sales, which will have come in the first few days of release, the bulk of those sales will have counted for the previous fiscal year. In this same way, despite the fact that Monster Hunter has seen massive pre-order numbers inflating the net sales of Capcom for this year, the bulk of their haul for that game will be at the end of the month when it releases. But anyhow, the article concludes saying Capcom is obviously very confident in the performance of Monster Hunter Wilds, which will launch on February 28th. As such, it says that it's still on track to achieve its full fiscal year target of 165 billion yen in net sales and 64 billion yen in operating income. Both results, if achieved, would be significantly better compared to the 152 billion yen in net sales and 57 billion yen in operating income achieved in the fiscal year 2023. With those numbers in mind, we can extract roughly what Capcom's sales projections are for Monster Hunter Wilds. So far, their net sales are about 89 billion yen, and they expect to be at 165 billion by the end of the fiscal year, which is a gain of about 76 billion yen. Converting that to US dollars, that is about 490 million bucks. Monster Hunter is selling for $70 per copy. So, if we divide that $490 million that Capcom is expecting to make by the end of this fiscal year, we can see that Capcom is predicting that they will sell somewhere in the ballpark of 7 million copies of this game in its first month. That is a, forgive the pun, but an absolutely wild number. In fact, that may be getting close to the sales numbers of the likes of Baldur's Gate 3 and their first month. There are very few games that we know about coming out in 2025 that will be able to even dream of competing with sales figures like that. But this is the benefit of not shoving garbage down our throats that gamers don't want in a franchise that has grown massively popular in the past decade or so. We definitely want to keep an eye out on the game, especially in the wake of Capcom releasing the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster, where they softened the edges of that game, to say the least, with censorship in order to appease the modern audience. Hopefully, Capcom stays away from that sort of train wreck moving forward. The look of this game suggests that they will. But I'm going to leave it there. Are you planning to play the open beta when it comes out this next weekend? What are your thoughts on this game in general? Drop those thoughts into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.